what we in the music biz call lo-fi, which is low fidelity, okay? And it sounds like a telephone. And I like that effect a lot. It like adds distortion to the vocal, which is like really cool. It's almost like a French dance record or something. Yeah, I mean, a couple songs I wrote with effects on the vocal, like This Is Gospel has a vocoder that just holds an E major chord underneath the vocal, the lead vocal, and I thought that sounded really cool. So I just wrote the melody because of that sound. Because I like the sound of my voice over that thing. I'm conceited, I know. I'm an arrogant bastard. Yeah.
What do we got here? Can you explain to us the evolution of Panic at the Disco sound throughout your 4 albums? Is it a matter of trend or taste?
That's a great question. Whose question was that?
Mine.
That's a good question. Trend or taste? I'd like to say that it's taste, for sure. A lot of times, you know, we'll listen to something that may be trendy, but it won't necessarily influence what we think is tasteful. And I think that's true for shut the fuck up. And I think that's true for a lot of the stuff that we try to create. Yeah, I think it's more of a matter of taste. When something is tasty, you can always tell. It just feels good.
What inspired the lyrics for This Is Gospel?
This Is Gospel was a song that almost didn't make the record, actually. It was really tough for me to be that honest. That was like one of the first songs where I was really fighting with myself on where I should draw the line of how honest I should be. If I should just, you know, divulge all the information, or if I should withhold something. So I kind of made a compromise in the lyrics, and it's really directly about Spencer and him battling his addiction, and me sitting on the sidelines for 5 years watching it happen. My emotions at the time, I was fearful of where the band would go, fearful of as friendship, like how that would just die out or however it would go. And, you know, also angry at times, you know, when things would go wrong, I would just be super mad and not know how to deal with that anger. So I wrote a song, and it kind of helped me deal with it, and helped him too to be able to be honest with himself and approach it and take it head on. And now he's doing a lot better. Yay! Yay, Spencer!
What was your favorite part of making the new album?
My favorite part is working with Butch Walker. He's kind of just a fun guy all around. He's a beautiful man, as I like to say. And you're thinking looks, but yes, inside as well. He's just a beautiful man. He's fun to work with because, especially this record, he kind of let me do whatever I wanted to do. Which a lot of times, if you work with producers, and we have in the past a couple different ones, and they'll like really force their ideas of the record, of what your record should be, and they'll force their ideas like on you. And sometimes that's a little frustrating because you have a vision yourself as the artist, and like you know what you want to get out, so you're fighting all the time with different opinions. But Butch really kind of just let me do whatever I wanted, which can be dangerous, but I think this time it kind of paid off. I was really happy with how this record came out.
Next one, I'm not sure who wrote this. It's very general, so I'm going to kind of make it more specific. What were your inspirations writing the songs for your new album, specifically Vegas Lights? P.S. I love you.
P.P.S. I love you too. Inspirations, yeah, Vegas Lights. That one was directly about Vegas. Being from Vegas, we would always use ideas from productions of shows that are on the Strip in Vegas in our live show. We just kind of steal ideas, which is cool. But I've always, even since the first record, wanted to do a song that was directly an homage, kind of an ode to Vegas, celebrating like where I thought I was when I was a kid and where I am now. And when I was a kid, I grew up in a very strictly religious Mormon household, so I wasn't really allowed to go down to the Strip that much. It was always this like, don't do that, this is really scary, you know, and that made me more curious. I like wanted to go down there and kind of like fuck shit up, as we say in the States, and I couldn't do that. So when I got older, it was my point of view of looking back and being like, this is what I wanted to do, now I'm doing it, and this is how I feel about it now, celebrating with the whole dinginess, the debauchery of Las Vegas, and yeah, I love all that stuff. stuff. But the inspirations for all the songs, they differ back and forth, and they're really just about personal experience. They're a lot more confessional. Simple as that.
Next one is, why did you use so much auto-tune? Your voice is perfect.
Yeah, auto-tune, there's really not, it's tough to explain to anyone who doesn't know what an effect can do to the voice. Like auto-tune is used for, a lot of times, they have a program that when a person can't sing, like, I'm trying to think of an example. Like Zach. If Zach can't sing, I can go in a program and move notes around to make him hit the note. And also it's used like the pitch as an effect, obviously like Cher's, do you believe in that? Yeah. So you can do that too, just as an effect. And I like doing that sometimes, but I feel like necessarily, I agree, I don't really need it. So a lot of times, there was not that much auto-tune at all. Like maybe to fix one note that I hit sour, if the performance is good, and you like the way that you said a certain word, it's cool to tune something. But most of the stuff that I think people confuse with auto-tune is called a vocoder, which when you play a keyboard and there's a microphone attached to it and you sing into it, it'll play the notes exactly perfectly in tune in the chord, but your voice will still be very loose and human. You know, I don't know. I like dance music. I like computerized stuff. So, fuck it.
Fuck it. What is the most personal song in the new record, which is really awesome, by the way? Smiley face.
Thanks for that. Most personal song? It's probably a toss-up between This Is Gospel and The End of All Things. You know, This Is Gospel, I said, was about Spencer dealing with his addiction. And The End of All Things was actually a song I wrote for my wife before we were married. We decided to have a small wedding, and we didn't want to do public vows because we wanted to keep it all private, you know, keep it all cutesy. And we had a really good time at the wedding, but before we did that, I wanted to write my vows in song form. It's the best way I know how to get my feelings out. So I wrote that song. It's basically my promise to her about where I saw our marriage going, like my life with her. I wanted to, you know, make a few promises, like in these coming years, many things will change, but the way I feel will remain the same, which I thought was a nice thing to say, and it was very true. So, I love my wife.
What have you improved the most since the band started? Like singing techniques, writing skills, or new instruments? ...
Biggest improvement, I think, is probably songwriting and vocal ability. I used to freak out, like, actually here's a fun story. On the first record, we almost didn't finish the vocals in time. We only had 3.5 weeks to record the record, and we saved the vocals for the last 2 days. Like, we just thought that I was so cool and good that I was going to just knock it out. That wasn't the case, because the first day we went in to do vocals, I forgot how to sing, and I had to call this guy who, like, was a vocal coach, and he told me, just calm down. If you stress out, you're going to hurt your voice. And I'm like, really? That's a thing? Like, if you stress out, you hurt your voice? I don't even know what that means. So I forgot how to sing, and that really stressed me out even more. So I just had to, you know, like when I look back to the first record, I'm very proud of it, but I know that I could have sang better on it, and that was frustrating to me. So I made an effort to become a better singer, learn different tricks, hit notes I never thought I could, learn tricks of like becoming a character while you sing is always fun. It's almost like doing cartoon acting, like you're doing an animated voice for some stuff. It's the best way I can relate it. And songwriting, I feel like I forced myself to just get better. I think I was a little bit lazy when I was writing songs, like on the first couple records. I would just like poop one out and be like, oh, I'm good. You know? It was like really easy, at least I thought. But I knew I could get better, so songwriting and vocal ability for sure.
Alright, so after 4 albums, four totally different albums, how do you manage to play them all in one show and still be coherent and logical? Sarah, I think?
Huh. That's a good question, because that's really tough to do. And you have to think about it too. When you're planning a tour, you're planning a live show, especially as of late, we've wanted to make sure that it has a different energy, it has a different vibe to it altogether. And the songs do have to kind of match up in a way, like it can't, I mean, it can kind of do whatever you want, but I wanted this show to be just high energy. It's almost like being in a club. The DJ's just like hitting song after song, like, you know, and it just keeps going. There's like a flow with it. So it's tough. I mean, when you're writing songs, trying to figure out how is this going to sound live was something we didn't think about until the second record and the third record. Yeah, it's kind of frustrating sometimes, but I don't know. I think we could still be better at matching everything up in the live show. Yeah, we're not doing so good, right? That was
No, I think it's pretty
good.
good.
I saw that face.
I fucked up. It's not bad.
Yeah, it's kind of tough matching up songs, especially from 4 records, but I kind of like how different everything sounds. And we try to stay as true to the song as possible, like as it sounds on the CD, try to sound just like the CD. Because that's important.
Important.
We've never really done that before.
All right. Sorry about this. Could you sing something in French?
Sing something in French, like what? What should I sing in French? I don't really know any French. Here's a cool story. There's a song on our album called Girl That You Love, and before it was called Girl That You Love, I had just gotten off of a 4-day vacation with, it was me and my wife, fiance at the time, and Spencer and his girlfriend. And his girlfriend speaks French very well, and she was trying to teach me. And we spent 4 days here, and I was just like more in love with Paris than I have ever been in my life, in France in general. And it was really great. So when I got home, I wanted to write a song in French. Yeah. Didn't really work out, but the song was called Cœur de Joie Mauve, which is, I think it's Marshmallow Heart, right? So I wrote an entire song in French, like the whole song was in French, before it was called Girl That You Love. And I showed the band and they were like, what the? What is this, dude? Like, we're putting a song in French on the album? Like, are you nuts? I was like, yeah, whatever, it's cool, I'm killing it, you know? And I definitely mispronounced stuff. So like, we matched up a lot of the syllables to sound like English words. So it's Cœur de Joie Mauve, Girl That You Love. So it became that. It was like, we matched up all the syllables to sound like English words. And then it started becoming about this girl. And then we started relating it to like personal experiences, and we're like, wow, this is actually kind of a cool song. So it was really weird how it happened, but it started in French. So thank you guys very much for your beautiful language.
All right. I think I've already asked this one, so this might be the last one. Can you give us some of the names of the bands that inspired the sound of your album?
This one.
Yes.
I listen to a lot of random music, meaning it jumps from like 80s pop to hip hop to classic 80s rock to 70s metal to 90s alternative. I don't know, it just kind of jumps around. I've always been a fan of the radio. When I was a kid, that was a big deal. I think that's, you know, where I got my start was listening to Weezer on the radio, and I picked up the Blue Album. So I mean, there's a lot of stuff. Like, there was a lot of different stuff. I think more specifically, what I tried to copy sound-wise was like Depeche Mode. I tried to copy that on Girl That You Love. I also tried to copy Justice, which I think is a great group. Daft Punk and M83, I saw them live and they blew me out. Oh my god, they were so amazing. So I wanted to do some like dancey stuff, and I liked their live show too. So it was stuff like that, but also like hip hop, like I said, it was like A$AP Rocky, Kendrick Lamar, Drake, Kanye West, like a bunch of different stuff. Only because I like different music. I get bored pretty easily. And listening to different stuff just helps make a better record, in my opinion. I think that when you listen to different music, your creation is going to be that much more diverse, and it's going to sound better than you thought it would because it's going to surprise you, and that's my favorite thing. It keeps the record process exciting. So I mean, it was kind of all over the place, but there's a few names, I guess.